don't believe that there is nothing wrong with being a simp. But remember though, back in the days when you thought that buying her food meant that y'all was basically married, right? You remember when one text from her could change your whole mood. You remember when you ignored every red flag that she had because she was fine. She could have been lazy. She probably didn't know how to cook. She probably was pigeon-toed, bow-legged, which I kind of like. She probably didn't, what I'm saying, wasn't good with kids that much. She probably wasn't the smartest knife in the drawer. She probably was a liar, cheater, manipulator, whatever, all these things. But when you got with her, it felt so good. It felt so right. You just felt like, yeah, you got to ignore the, the little stuff that she was doing because you was in you was in lust, you could have been in love, who knows. you know this is for everybody though, this episode right here. This is for everybody that was doing championship level simping. I'm gonna take you on a journey though, all right? Because the crazy part is when you're in it, you don't even know that you're simping. You think that's just you being loyal. You think that's just you doing what a man is supposed to do, doing what, you know, any man that's out here pursuant of a woman, you think that this is what you're supposed to do, so you're doing it. You think that you're showing love, you're expressing yourself. Nah, you really out here simping, and it's all good to do that. I have no listen. I was a championship. I probably got about 5 rings consecutively when it came to simping. But as I look back at this one moment, and I think I overplayed my part a little bit too much, which is why I'm probably the way that I am when it comes to certain things. Um, I remember um over texting this woman. I thought this woman was dope. I remember getting her number. I remember talking to her. I remember just vibing with her. And she used to always reject me. Like, and I guess, you could say in my mind now, what we would call her is a round the way girl. Because, if you wasn't really talking about money or designer things or things like that, she really wasn't paying attention to you. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Every time that I approached her, it would be on some romantic, I want to get to know you. I want to, you know, make you mine type shit. But at being at 21, 25, them years, you start seeing her and she going for the doughboys and the dudes with the cars and the whips and the money and shit like that. She was going for that. So, it kind of got me in that space. Like, all right, man, if you can't beat them, join them. You know what I'm saying? So I remember, man, damn near using every dime I got trying to impress this woman. And then she started noticing me. I remember one time, shit, nigga, I was late paying my fucking rent because I wanted to show out and take her out a good time and show out, you know, take her, treat her nice, treat her well, because I thought like, all right, this is what's gonna get me in the door. I'm over texting. I'm sitting back in the cut, waiting hours for her to reply, like pacing the room, going back and forth, waiting on her to reply, and this and that, that and this. I canceled other potential easy avenues for. I just felt like, yeah, man, like I had guaranteed on the table, and I shut it all down for the benefit of her. I was out spending money I didn't have. I told y'all I spent my whole rent I had my rent money. At the time, my landlord was my brother. So, 9 times out of 10, you thinking, yeah, he ain't really gonna trip. He was really tripping. He was pissed. I didn't tell him the reason off bat, but yeah, I spent my whole rent money trying to impress this woman, took her out. We had a good time. Um, I did get some loving that night, but it was more so wham bam, I'll catch you later, I gotta go type shit. It wasn't how they picture it in the movies where it's all romantic. Y'all waking up next to each other in the morning. Nah, it wasn't none of that. It was she gave me some and then she left. Blew me, still blew me because it wasn't no cheap date by a long shot. And I'm not saying cheap date to equivalent to the goodies, but I'm just saying it wasn't cheap. I deserved more in the morning. I deserved her to stay and wake up, make up breakfast in bed and shit like that. It ain't go nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, like I said, you in lust, you in light. You sitting around here, you thinking about everything, you acting like every convo meant something because to you it did. To her, it probably didn't mean nothing because that was probably her 20th conversation on the day and she was high maintenance. And I didn't really know the balance of high maintenance until I looked back and I got older. So when she left, how like you checking your phone every 3 minutes. You over there sending her, hey man, I had a good time with you last night. It was amazing. It was the best night ever. And she wasn't responding, she wasn't calling back. You call and you leaving voicemails. You just intertwine. You like, man, and I must have left her like 30 voicemails that day. No response. Um, I'm over here making playlists because at that time I was making CDs and stuff. So I was over here making her own CDs, and I was doing my own thing to bring it to her. I was doing my own thing to bring it to her and just try to show her, hey, she's special. But she was a round the way girl. She wasn't trying to hear none of that shit. She wasn't trying to hear that I'm so special and all this, none of that shit. She wasn't doing none of that. And there was times, right, that I would get dressed and I would be spiffy, you know what I'm saying, just to see her for 4 minutes because it involved paying a phone bill, giving her money to pay a phone bill, or you know what I'm saying, something to help her get something to eat, or you know what I'm saying, get her nails done. It was little simple shit that I was doing. And, I wasn't really getting no attention from it. You know what I'm saying? We was more arguing the type that we'll be getting into it, and I'll be the one trying to apologize or make it right, even though she was the one doing all the bogus shit. Like it was just downright bogus. You know what I'm saying? Simping for me, it started off real small. Like I said, the normal things, calling her every 5 minutes, begging to see her, asking to see her, you know what I'm saying? And then it was just like, yeah, it started small and started cool. And then it went evolved simping, right? Pulling up whenever she called, and that was rarely. Going all out of my way for her, going everywhere I could, driving, riding all over town, catching buses all over town, uh, forgiving her for lying because the lies is obvious. Um, the games was real and you just bypassed it. I was being super emotional, crying on voicemails, crying through text messages, uh, calling her mama house to see if she was there, see if she heard from her, because I hadn't heard from her and I needed her. I missed her. I hadn't thought, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Buying gifts after arguments, knowing that she crossed the line, but I'ma go ahead on. I was really in it. Like I was in it. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? I'm fighting for something that's already dead because in my mind, she was so cold. She had me thinking that we was in a relationship. We wasn't even in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? I wrote long paragraph text. I should have published a book. I was out here giving boyfriend benefits with a trial membership. I had that confidence like I was a dude, but I really wasn't a dude. It was just, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm out here really confusing attention with love because I felt like, man, if you just notice me, if you just make time for me, this is the attention, this is the love. And I was confusing chemistry with compatibility because I thought like, every time I'm with her, I just feel so special. I just feel so in love. And whole time she like, listen, I'm just gonna get whatever I can out of this dude because he giving it to me and he giving it to me. He gonna do whatever I say. I guess I was wrapped around her finger. I guess you could say that. And at that time, it was like, yeah, you wrapped around my finger. I got you. You gonna do whatever I say, do, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the time where I look at things from a different perspective because I didn't have to go that far, but I did it. I did it because I thought, like, yeah, I thought this woman cared about me, and turns out she really didn't. So this is where you get in that phase of you start realizing after a while, after about a year and a half of this, right? Because I told you I was in like, I ain't gonna flex it. You start realizing that the effort wasn't equal. You started realizing that you're being ignored, you're being pushed to the side. You started realizing that love had you weak. You started feeling embarrassed afterwards because all your guys is clowning you and they telling you stories about how they seen Shorty with this dude and that dude, and she was here and there, and it just it was rough. The first time I realized that I was doing too much was on my birthday. And I had all these plans, and she was hyping me up like, yeah, we gonna do this and we gonna do that. And we gonna hold it down and I got you and blah, 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 and this and that. First time I realized that I was doing too much is when I made plans and she didn't show up. You talking about crushed. Oh man, I was crushed. I was humiliated. I was hurt. And the only thing that she could say at that moment was, my bad. I forgot. I overslept. Just a whole bunch of stuff that just at that time made me realize, like, yo, the reciprocation level is not where it's supposed to be. She ain't doing nothing for you. You doing everything. You going above and beyond. And the embarrassment was I had this little gathering for the birthday and she didn't show up. So basically, I was on my birthday by myself, but I kept saying, my woman, my woman, my woman. And the whole time that wasn't my woman. I realized I was doing too much. Worst feeling is when you realize and you fought for somebody harder than they ever fought for you. And I ain't getting nothing out of it. You know what I'm saying? I got some loving every now and then, but like I said, it was quick, fast, in a hurry, like she was on a schedule. I ain't getting no money spent on me. Wasn't nobody simping off to me. It was just me doing all the simping. So then you realize, yeah, you doing too much. The worst feeling is realizing that when you really go hard for somebody and they don't return it, it makes you feel stupid. It makes you feel slow. And now, why we simp, I'll tell you the reason why we simp: for loneliness, for validation, for wanting to feel chosen, even though we know we are out of our range, out of our arena. And I probably would have been out of her range because Shorty was bad. It was just, I thought that the little bit of attention that she was giving me, she was doing it because she liked me. But in all actuality, she was doing it because she wanted something out of me. So ego, lack of experience, lack of knowledge of knowing when you're being played or knowing when you're simping, wanting love so bad that you ignore the logic, you ignore everybody around telling you that she ain't really feeling you. A lot of men don't even be simping over the woman. They be simping over this woman make them feel. And that was me. I was I was emotionally attached. I was financially invested. I was spending every dime that I got just to, make sure she was good. And the only time she would pull up is when she needed something. It was never when I needed her. It was only when she needed something. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be uh, feeling like I had peace. I wanted that connection, and it never came. So yeah, I was a big simp. I ain't gonna hold you. And being tender, all of that. I was super tender, dog. Like I was going to the plasma center trying to make sure, I had the little money just to make sure. I would see her with dudes and I would roll up and try to get into it with the dudes and all this and all that. Just for her to leave with the dude. But I was super simping at that time. Um, Sometimes you got to learn a lesson from that, though. You got to learn balance. You got to learn how not to overextend yourself. You got to learn to get mutual effort, because if it ain't mutual, then you basically are a simp and she's looking at you as that, just a simp. You got to have the emotional maturity to know when you're being played. And it's okay, man. It happens to the best of everybody. Nobody's going to sit here and act like, they ain't never been played by a woman, because they have. Being tender ain't weak. Loving hard ain't weak. The mistake is giving loyalty to people that never earn access to you in the first place. And that is what I hope this episode teaches you. If it ain't being reciprocated, if you ain't being loved on the way that you loving, 9 times out of 10, you being played. Everybody got a simping story. There's a difference between growth and embarrassment, though. I didn't feel embarrassed at the time until I really started sitting down looking at it like, damn, she'll never call me the way I call her. She'll never go hard for me the way that I go hard for her. She never took me out for no meal. She never, you know what I'm saying? You start having all these thoughts. And that's where I learned from it. So now growing up, you know, things that I was doing nowadays got me deleting captions after fights. I ain't sending no money after arguments. I'm out here acting tough publicly, but in privately, I'm really tender about things now, just more privately. You know what I'm saying? We all get them stories when we into it and we feel like we being played, we posting indirectly and all that other stuff, man. The worst part about simping, though, before I close this up, you lose self-respect, you lose confidence, you lose time, you lose peace trying to win somebody who already made their choice that you are not what they want. You just convenience. And that's just how I looked at it, man. I was simping hard. I was in the room waiting. Don't nobody touch that phone. I'm waiting on the phone call. Showing up. Like, man, like buying her roses, buying her gifts, little things like that. And it was just like, it's a dog eat dog world, man. And yeah, I felt like I was a dog back in them days, but man, there was some cold women out here. But listen, y'all already know what this is. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. This is episode 1 of round 1 of the Pod Wars with myself, Uncle Dolomite, and Rodis. Y'all be sure to go check out their episodes. And at the end of round 3, we're going to go at it and we're going to let, you know what I'm saying, y'all decide who really won this Pod Wars. Until next time, man, I hope y'all stay blessed. Hope y'all stay simp free. I mean, it's okay to be simping, but make sure you simping for someone that actually simps for you too. Y'all already know what this is, man. I'm out.